you can sell all of your inventory in 2 hours. On eBay, it might take 2 years. Like I did 3 shows and sold about $2,000 worth of cards, maybe a little
Ooh.
bit.
What is going on, everyone? I am here joined by my mate in Australia. We've got little Chriso from Instagram. Chris, this
Yeah,
is a UFC community convo that I haven't done for a while. This is number 12. I haven't not done these for a while, hoping to get back into these. Starting off with this one, I'm very excited to talk to Chris, not only because I do believe, Chris, you were like literally one of my first followers here or subscribers on YouTube. I remember you from the very, very start. And you've obviously been following myself. I know you follow very closely over at Zach, our good friend Zach at Box Alarm Trading as well. And I'm sure you're in with
yeah,
all the other people making UFC content at the moment. But it's great to sit down with you. I very much am happy to have you here today. We're going to obviously talk about your experience with UFC cards, and especially in Australia. I'm very, very curious, obviously, on this other side of the world, how your experience has been so far. But yeah, Chris, thank you for coming. I do very much appreciate it. And let's let the people know from the start, Chris. How long have you been watching or been a fan of the UFC for?
mate, the first time I watched UFC, I was probably 15, 16 years old. Me and my mates would ride our BMX bikes to the Blockbuster and get the DVDs and watch Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell and all that stuff. But yeah, to be honest, I went off it for years and did normal Australian stuff like rugby league and things. And then March 2020, when COVID hit and they started doing like the only sport you could watch on UFC Fight Island and all that stuff, I was like, man, this is me. And then from then, I've been hooked, like with the Fight Pass app and just loving it, eh? And yeah, those early days were fun watching with my mates because that bring back a lot of memories. That question. Yeah, like I remember his little ferret used to bite my feet and shit, and it used to piss me off. Like, yeah, and yeah,
That,
yeah. Well, first started a long time ago, but I haven't really
so
been like I was a casual back then. But I reckon I'm a bit less than a casual now because I watch it every weekend, mate. I love it.
yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, definitely very similar story to me because that would have been back on like the pay-per-view main event days when you had to have like the Foxtel or OzStar, and then you would have to order the UFC events on the Sun. They were
Yeah,
always Sunday afternoon, Sunday lunchtime because that's how I started as well. You know, back in 2000 and 7 and 8 and stuff like that. And once again, yeah, I also had a break there for a little bit, but got back a little bit earlier than you in the con area. But cool that you eventually made it back to the sport that you obviously now love. Which brings us to
yeah.
the next question. How long you been collecting UFC cards, buying UFC cards, and tell us how that all started from obviously getting back to UFC, watching it as a fan of the sport in 2020. How did you get into buying and collecting UFC cards?
Yeah, man. March 2020 was roughly when COVID hit, so I started watching it a lot because it was the only thing you could get, and I was like, oh, I'll watch some sports, and UFC was it. I enjoyed the Fight Island cards, mate, because there was no crowd, and you could hear the coaches, and you could hear the punches, and you could hear the kicks, and I'm like, this is the shit. I love it. And I told my missus I want to get into trading cards, eh? And Father's Day 2020, she gave me two empty binders because she couldn't find UFC cards in Australia. So that day, I had the empty binders. I took all my old NBA basketball cards to the local card shop in Brisbane. It's called like the Brisbane Card Shop or something. But I'm pretty sure he stitched me up, man. I gave him like 3 binders full of like Charles Barkley cards and shit, and he gave me one booster box of UFC Prism 2022. And I actually pulled Marlon Cheeto Vera Green Pulsar to 25.
In your first box, yeah.
Yeah, my first blaster, and it blew me away because I was looking at it. I was thinking, what's this? What's this serial number to 25? What does that mean? And then I was like, oh, there's actually only 25 of these cards in the world. And I figured out. So
Yeah.
I don't, I don't know if serial numbers were a thing back when I was collecting NBA cards, but I can't remember that. So I was surprised to have a serial numbered card, and that started everything. I mean, I was hooked hard. I've been buying collecting UFC cards ever since that day.
Yeah, right. And then how did you find out there were? Did you have to do some research before actually going in to buy the UFC cards, or you just sort of figured there was definitely a product? Because that was a thing that I had myself, and then obviously a lot of other people have mentioned too. Like just even knowing that UFC cards existed. Obviously, we all know grow up baseball, basketball cards, even the NFL cards, the more American sports. But just even knowing that there were UFC cards is sort of half the battle.
Yeah, man. I can't remember how I found out about UFC cards, but when I did find out about them, I was like, "Fuck, I'm in.
You're all
Where
in,
can I
yeah.
where can I get some?" It might have been like YouTube, like
Yeah. Okay.
Macy Collectibles, and
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of channels we'll go into. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think I found out about UFC cards from YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. Now, speaking of cards, I have obviously people want to check out your Instagram. It will be linked in the description below. It's little Chriso, but you do have quite a wide variety of cards you've got posted up, whether they're all in your collection or you've obviously been buying cards, as you said, since 2022 Prism.
Yep.
But do you have I've seen a lot of Ngannou cards. I've seen, you got some fair share of Connor cards as well. You've even got some Volkanovski cards in there. Do you have
Yeah.
specific fighters that you PC, or how do you normally go about when buying UFC cards?
Man, I've got a bit of a problem where I kind of PC everybody. Um, Not really female fighters, excluding like Nunez and Shevchenko. Like I like them girls. I collect them all day. But man, I pretty much collect everything. I'm a bit of a set collector, like um, like Zach from Box Alarm, and I like collecting sets. Yeah, but yeah, I've definitely got a problem. I'll collect everything and anything I can get my hands on, like all of the inserts and all of the parallels. Like I like to have, like in a binder, there's a page you can fit 9 people, and I like to have a complete page of each parallel or each insert, and yeah, sometimes a complete set if I can do it, but I'm happy to have just a page completed of that insert or parallel.
Yeah, okay. So obviously, I'm obviously putting two and two together at the moment. You're obviously coming across as, people, especially like genuine set collectors, they have this thing about them where things need to be completed and in order. So you obviously, that is a
Yeah,
big part of your card hobby,
yeah, yeah.
collecting by the sounds of it.
I wouldn't call it OCD, but I definitely am not happy if I've got a binder with a 9 page cards and there's only 8 cards. I want that ninth card just full the page. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And when you're putting these sets together, are you doing them all in the base version, or you are actually doing it in you
Yeah.
pick a short pin parallel like a silver or green to be on, yeah, when putting it
Strictly
together.
strictly base. Like I'll do a base set and then I might do like I'm trying to do sets of green parallels, but they're a bit harder. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
base set's pretty easy, but once you start getting into like a set of you know green prism or green fearless gets a bit harder. They're a little bit more expensive, but
Yeah.
yeah, if I'm doing a base set of 2022 prism, it needs to be all base. I won't be happy if there's a silver in there. It needs to be base.
Okay. Okay. Very, very interesting.
Mm.
And speaking of which, because you're in Australia and you have been in Australia since day one with collecting cards, I'm obviously new returning to Australia. How where it's not so easy, I think people forget who live in the US. Basically, if you're living outside of US, access to getting your favorite sports cards, whether it be new product, new boxes, or even singles, it's not as straightforward as what it is for, you know, if you're living in the US. For us living outside the US, it's, you know, it's quite a hassle, and it's a lot more expensive. So how has your hobby experience been to date? Have you been buying new boxes? Obviously you started off buying that blaster box. Is your hobby experience so far mostly buying new boxes and putting together those sets, or are you buying a lot of singles on, you know, platforms like eBay? Are you doing both, or how's that been so far?
I've been doing everything. I reckon it's mostly breaks, although I don't think that's the smartest way to do things. But I've bought like 5 hobby boxes, about 6 or 7 blasters, and a retail box. But yeah, look, singles on YouTube, I mean eBay would be the way to go. But like, yeah, you can't beat the fun of opening packs. Like, I don't know, I'm a self-confessed gambler, so if I'm opening a pack, mate, and I hit something, that's the best feeling you can get. But buying singles is the best way to build your collection, eh?
Yeah, yeah, that definitely makes sense. And have you been buying boxes? When you're buying boxes, you buying them online, or you buying it at the
Yeah.
at your local hobby store?
No, I bought actually, I didn't mention, I've got some mega boxes from, there's a there's a card shop. I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, there is card shops in Australia, and I've bought
Yeah,
some bigger boxes and done all right. That's where I got my blaster box. But all of my hobby boxes have been off eBay, so you're paying a bit above retail for the hobby boxes, but you know that is what it is. You get the product in 3 or 4 days, and you pay a bit of a premium, but it's nice to open the hobby boxes. It's the best thing I reckon, in in collecting. Opening hobby
yeah.
boxes, very 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 fun.
And then just for the fellow Australians who might be curious, are you sourcing those boxes on eBay from Australian sellers, or are you sort of splashing out and buying them from the States and getting the
No,
postage?
I'll always try to buy from an Australian seller purely because it gets here about 30 days quicker.
Yep. Yeah, right. Well, that's good to know. So people who are maybe interested and watching, if you do want to start, you know, even getting hobby boxes, it can be done here in Australia, as you said, if you want to do it on eBay, or there are obviously hobby shops online that'll post Australia wide.
Yeah, Cherry Collectibles is good, right? I'm sure you've heard of them. They're a
Yeah,
pretty good. You know, they're probably the #1 seller in Australia if you want to buy some UFC cards in singles or even hobby boxes or go into breaks. So
yeah.
Cherry's pretty good.
Yeah, no, they're actually who I was looking at buying my 2025 Chrome hobby box from was Cherry Collectibles. So we'll have to get that done soon. But speaking of breaks, mate, I know obviously we've been talking a little bit off Instagram and things like that before over the years. But I know you've just gotten into sort of Whatnot in terms of selling. Maybe you've been on Whatnot buying for quite a while, but how has your experience been both buying and selling on UFC cards on Whatnot? Because Whatnot is massive, massive, massive in America, but obviously it's growing in Australia, but it's still only very, very new compared to it's new in general, obviously, but very, very more new here in Australia than what is in America. But how's your experience been so far there?
Mate, selling on Whatnot has been really fun. You can talk to people, build relationships, you know, make friends if you want. But I'm not the most sociable guy, to be honest. So I'm on there to sell, and like I did 3 shows and sold about $2,000 worth of cards, maybe a little
Ooh,
bit. And like, I've got some seller's remorse. There was some things I sold that I wish I didn't sell, but you get into the moment and you're doing like I was doing $1 auctions. So you start at $1, people bid it up, whatever it goes for, it goes for, and man, it was very fun. Rapid fire. So it's like eBay, but again, it's not like eBay. It's a totally different beast. You can sell all of your inventory in 2 hours. On eBay, it might take 2 years.
yeah,
So
right.
yeah, I reckon it's awesome. And the best thing about Whatnot is like the first show you do, you might only sell $150 worth of cards, but they'll match that and give you $150. So I'm like, that's pretty cool. And then for the first month, they waive their 8% fee. So everything I sell is just profit, and like the buyer pays for the postage, and you print the postage labels and stick them on. Like it's just I like it, mate. I reckon it's great, but
Yeah, right.
it's not for everybody.
Yeah, no, obviously it's all new to me, and something I've been thinking about. How did you find obviously, starting off, you said you had the 3 shows. How did you find the audience in terms of just getting people in? Because I know with Whatnot, hearing from other people's experiences, that is generally the biggest difference is, getting the audience in to get a little bit better pricing. But didn't find that any issue by the sounds of it?
No, I was nervous, man. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know what. Nobody's going to be following me, all that stuff. But my first show, I can't remember if I got up to 20 people in the room or not, but it would have been close to it.
Yeah, that's massive.
Every card I'll put up for sale would get sold. Even if you do like a base Raquel Pennington or something and people don't bid on it, you just add another card and then they're like, oh, 2 cards for $1. And then they start bidding. And yeah, I didn't think my first show was going to do anything. I thought I'd be sitting there by myself, but it wasn't the case. There is actually a lot of buyers in Australia on Whatnot chasing UFC cards. Yeah. And I've noticed like some of the cards I sell, I'll see them on a show that someone else is doing. They're trying to sell the same cards that I sold them, and it's like a revolving
big cycle.
Door, you know what I mean? Yeah. And there's cool people on there, man. I was on there the other day, not even buying anything, and just chatting. You know what I mean? We talked about how to reheat pizza for half an hour. It was
the important life stuff as well.
Yeah.
Getting important life lessons on there, not just picking up some cards. That's very cool. But yeah,
it's honestly a cool group of guys talking shit about UFC, and yeah, I've posted some packages locally where I've noticed like the postcode's probably half an hour from me. I'm like, I haven't done anything about it, but I'm like, imagine if we could get all these people together and like just go to somewhere,
go to pub, or even that, or go to the pub and watch the next UFC event together, and
trade some shit. Like I'm not going to reach out to anybody, but I thought about
it. Mate, maybe that's an idea you can sit on for a little bit, and you never know. Because if chances are, if you're thinking something, there's someone else who's probably had the same thought, mate. So
it'd be nice to sit down with someone with the same sort of interests and hobbies as me and trade cards and whatnot. But anyway.
Yep. No, so obviously, that's why we're here as well, having this conversation, and hopefully people tuning in are sort of getting the same experience, because it definitely is great to talk with someone who does have, similar hobbies and similar interests to you.
What? No, I will not accept $5. It's a $150 card. How did you even send that offer? I got all these cards I need to get rid of. Like, they're awesome, but I just need to move off them. UFC, WWE, NBA, Yu-Gi-Oh!
Let me guess. More terrible offers on eBay.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I used to get them all the time too. Now I sell on Whatnot.
What's not?
No, I said Whatnot. It's a selling platform. You'll sell those quick and easy. How do you think I bought this new suit? Tommy Hilfiger, boy.
Oh, Whatnot. Really?
Best bit is, if you click the link in the description right now, they'll match the sales on your first show up to $150.
Man, 150?
Yeah, 150. So if you sell $120 worth of cards your first show, they're going to put another $120 back in your account.
I'm definitely going to try that out. Thanks.
Happy to help anytime you need it.
A few moments later.
Hello, Megan Fox. Yeah, I'm still coming to the date. Chill. I'm coming to dinner. Alright.
Did you just say Megan Fox?
I gotta go, bro. Whatnot. Link in the description right now. Do it.
Yeah, I'm coming, babe. I'm coming.
what I wanted to ask you next was, what are your thoughts been so far? I know you came in same time as me, 2022, when, you know, Panini Prism was in its second year run. What are your thoughts been so far? We're 2 years in now, or 1.5 years, could we say, to the Tops returning with the license for UFC. What are your thoughts been on the products that we've seen from Tops so far? Are you a fan? Are there maybe something you don't like, something you have liked? What are your thoughts?
Oh, I mean, I can't complain. I like Tops, but I'm a Prism guy because that's how it all started for me in 2020. I was like, oh, this is me. I like UFC and I like gambling and I like UFC cards, and you can put them all together, and it's like the one big thing. If I had to complain about anything, I think Tops has got too many parallels. Like when I started on Prism 2022, like you could get the base, the silver, or the green. Well, there's probably others, but I used to look through my binder and notice one of them was a bit shiny. I'm like, well, what's this one? And then I realized, oh, that's a silver. And I'm like, oh, I don't know about these silver cards. They don't even look much different to base cards. So then I started on the green. So yeah, but I like Tops, man. In a nutshell, I think Tops is good. Hopefully, it goes back to Prism. To be honest, I mean, to Panini. I like Panini better, but yeah, Tops is taking the reins, man. They're doing all right. I'm not going to complain, but yeah, there's a lot of product, a lot of parallels. Makes it hard for a set collector like myself, but
Yeah, I could only imagine. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I actually have a video I just recently recorded about the whole, you know, the Panini license and a little bit of an update. We had Leaf CEO Brian Gray. I'm not. Maybe this video's even come out by the time this one releases. Who knows? But yeah, I don't think we ever see Panini return to UFC. That's for sure. But
You'll never, mate. Maybe in 50 years, but it'll be a while.
50 years. If I'm still around in 50 years, I think we're doing all right. Speaking of which, obviously you are a heavy set collector. Do you have a favorite set? This might be a heart-turning question for you, but do you have a favorite set so far for UFC that we've seen that you have maybe put together?
Yeah, definitely. Like 2022 Prism, just because that's when it all started for me. But like, then I've got sets of inserts, and if I had to pick one to hang on to, it'd probably be like 2022 Fearless or maybe 2022 Fireworks. Like, you're talking completed sets of inserts, or just like a product?
Just of a product in general, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
2022 Prism. If I was
Yeah.
around in 2021, hands down, that would be my set, because debut Prism, everybody knows it's the shit. But I wasn't here in 2021 Prism days, so
Yeah.
2022 Prism is my thing, and that's what I like.
Have you got any, just thinking out loud now to myself, have you got any older sets that you've collected, you've put together? Is it your sort of, are you been from 2022 onwards, you haven't looked back, you know, further into when Tops had the license before, say 2015 or 2016? There's no sets that you've sort of liked the look of that you've put together?
Nah, man, nah. I'd like to, but they're a little bit, okay. I don't know. Like, they're not cheap. The old stuff's a little bit dearer, but I've tried to focus on 2022 onwards. Yeah, no.
Yep. No, that's fair enough. Obviously, to each their own, but it makes sense too. Obviously, if you've got more readily available through the breaks and buying boxes and stuff, you're able to put the sets together from the products that you have available now.
I appreciate the old stuff, man. I like 2009 Tops round one, but we all know that stuff's not cheap, so I'm not really trying to do it.
Yeah, fair enough. I love to speculate, and I want to hear your speculation on this right now. Which fighter, in your opinion, do you think should have the highest selling cards within the UFC hobby across all fighters, retired, active, from Who do you think should have the highest selling cards for UFC?
That's a tough one, man. Like I'm an Amanda Nunes, Anderson Silva guy, so I've got a fair bit of Anderson Silva and a little bit of Amanda Nunes, but there's so many guys like GSP, John Jones, Royce Gracie. Being Australian, I'm a little bit biased. I'm like Volk and Izzy and Whitaker, but man, if I had to pick one, it'd be Anderson Silva. And it's a bit of a funny story because like I didn't really watch UFC when Anderson Silva was fighting, but I knew like he was the least punched guy in the UFC. So he had the best defense. He could dodge all the punches, and I bought a lot off a guy in Australia for like $200, and I ended up with a whole bunch of awesome Anderson Silva cards, and that just started off my Anderson Silva PC. So yeah, I'm if I had to pick a male, Anderson Silva. If I had to pick a female, Amanda Nunes.
All right, so you've definitely covered the question there. Yeah, Anderson Silva was in his prime, watching when I was back watching the UFC, and as you said, he always captured the attention when he was fought, just because he danced around so much, did the Muhammad Ali, and made everyone look silly there for a very long time. And as you said, I actually didn't know that stat about the least hit fighter, but yeah.
I don't know if that's true.
I'm sure. Yeah, maybe in his championship fights, I think he got hit there a fair few times towards the end of his career. But it definitely would make sense that he was probably the least hit fighter during his title run for sure. Because I mean that fight with Forrest Griffin, I don't think Forrest Griffin hit him once, and that was just obviously the pinnacle of his career at that time. Yeah. All right, mate. Before we go, being a fellow Australian, I'm always love to ask this question last for my guests. What would be one piece of advice to someone new who's watching this for the very first time and just getting into new UFC cards? What would be one piece of advice you would give them?
Oh, that's a good question, Damien. But I'd probably choose maximum 5 people to PC. So I've got a friggin' queen size bed full of cards over here, and I don't know who I PC sometimes, but if you can pick maximum 5 people to collect and focus on those 5 people, even if you only pick one male and one female like myself. Don't. One piece of advice is that, but can I do like 10 pieces of advice?
You can do as many pieces of advice as you want, mate. We have time, so
yeah.
And I know you want to show some cards off too, which we can do after we get your advice.
Yeah, man, I'm ready to show off cards if you want it, but I wanted to, just don't do whatnot breaks, man. If you're gonna do a whatnot break, go to like Chicken 1 of 1 and do a pick your weight class. That pick your fighter breaks are brutal, man. You can spend $500 and get nothing. It's good to sell on whatnot, but buying on whatnot through breaks is a bad idea. It's gambling, and you might not get nothing. I'd get some binders, like put your cards in binders and enjoy them, flipping through the pages. And if you want to learn about UFC cards, go onto YouTube, watch channels like yours, Main Event Cards, but like Box Alarm Trading, Cherry Collectibles, Joe's Card Stash, Macy Collectibles hasn't been active, but he's got some good shit. Buffooniverse. There's a lot of good YouTube channels where you can learn about UFC cards and what's valuable and what's not. But man, if I was going to start collecting tomorrow, first thing I'd do is jump on YouTube tonight and watch all of the YouTube videos that are out there, so you can learn about, what's what. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great advice, and thanks for a little bit of a plug there. But yeah, that's I agree as well. Obviously, yeah, they're the best way, and it's always people. But in saying that, people have their own journeys and learn at their own different speeds as well. But yeah, definitely as much research as you can do earlier on, obviously, the better off and the more knowledgeable you're going to be, and maybe the less regret that you're going to have in terms of making purchases, and even as you pointed out earlier with selling as well. But that's all part of it. That's all part of the learning experience. Mate, what do you want to show us? So obviously, I want to see some stuff, and I'm sure the people
Yeah.
watching want to see some stuff. So you now have the floor. You can. I know you have a lot of binders and you have a lot of stuff out. You feel free to show us whatever you want.
Man, I'm not sure if I can flip this camera, but I might just turn it around and hopefully I'll get the right angle.
I reckon
But yeah,
you will.
I got my PC laid out here. So I got like all of my hits, like my biggest shit there. You got some kabooms, golds.
Some immaculates as well. Yeah, some prisms.
Yeah,
and
I like
the
iMac. Yeah, man, I've got a lot of shit, but like just for example, like I like to collect a whole page of one insert. So like that Mac's always sick, obviously, but yeah.
Yeah, the negative there. Yeah, you got even the revolutions there.
Negative, revolutions, season tickets.
Season tickets.
Got the whatever you call those.
Are they AKAs, were they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Got your 2022 Prism there.
You've got heaps, but then this will be my next Whatnot show. I'm gonna sell all that shit on Whatnot. But yeah, I like to get the checklist, cross off the names, man, collect everything. We got like 2022 Donruss, completed 2023 Donruss, Optic 2022, Optic 23. But yeah, pretty much just collect everything, man. I'm like a crazy person.
Is there anything that you're sort of missing that you're having trouble finding at the moment that maybe someone watching can, get something sent over your way in terms of, is there anything you're sort of having trouble finding in collecting your sets at the moment, finishing off those sets?
Man, there's so many cards I'm missing because I'm collecting everything. So yeah, man, the list would be too long. I'm pretty close to Marvel's 2022 set, but like yeah, man, I don't know. You don't want to hear how many cards I'm chasing. So, but like when I was talking about like I've got a page of 9 cards.
Yeah.
And that's one page of a binder, so I'm happy. I sort of once I get 10 cards, I'm like, I need that set now. So.
You just start a new page on the binder,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a problem. Like UFC cards is fun, man, and I like collecting them, but it can be a problem when you got 3 kids and a stay-at-home missus. So.
Yeah, I could imagine. They got to keep pumping out those Whatnot shows, mate. They sound like they're working for you. So, help get some of those funds reorganized towards getting the new stuff for sure.
Yeah, I know. I'm probably going to do a show. Probably not tonight, but like I had a huge mail day today, so big cardboard therapy, man. I was on holidays for 2 weeks, so my shit gets delivered to work. So I went and grabbed all of my packages from work after 2 weeks of not being there. And yeah, I got so many cards today. So I'm like, I need to have a bit of a sale.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm a bit like that at myself at the moment too. I've got all these cards. I've been buying all these, mate. Like anyone watching my channel would know, I've had like 4 mail day videos in a row of all these purchases I made months ago when I was needing a bit of retail therapy myself. And now I'm just looking around like, I've turned all minimalist all of a sudden. I don't want all this stuff. Yeah. So that's why I'm so curious about Whatnot myself. So I think I'm gonna have to just jump on there and bite the bullet and do it.
You should do it, mate. When I signed up to be a seller, I was like, I'm not going to do this until I've set up like an area where I can look like a professional. But then I noticed I had like 2 days left before that $150 bonus finished. So they'll match your sales to 150. And I was like, well, I've got 2 days to do this. So I just did it. And I'm like, once I was in there, I was like, this is pretty cool. And if you do a show, Damien, I'll be there and I'll buy it. Probably.
Yeah. You'll buy up all my stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'll see it. Yeah, then I'll see it for sale again. Right, mate. Once again, Chris, so or the link to your Instagram will be linked in the description below. So stay tuned. Are you been advertising your whatnot sales? Get on Instagram, mate. Let people know when you're going to sell, so people can stay in tune with your Instagram and they can see when you're going to have a sale and they can jump on there whenever you
Yeah, no
you
worries, mate.
notify them.
I'll try to remember to do that. I'll probably just jump on and just see how it goes. Rapid fire auctions, $1 starts. Yeah.
You heard it here first from Chris. Right, mate. I do appreciate it. Yeah, this has been fun. Good one to get, and hopefully, you know, we'll definitely have to have you back. I'd like to have recurring guests as well. You know, we can catch up again in 12 months' time and see how the binders are going and see how the whatnot sales are going as well. But thank you again, Chris. I appreciate it, mate.
Thanks, Damien. You're the man. Oh, if I could give you one bit of advice, maybe
Yep.
just go back to UFC cards, mate. All this wrestling cards and shit. Oh, man.
The wrestling's too deep in me at the moment, mate. There's no, you know what it's. You talked about with UFC. Once you start something, there's no going back, mate. So
Nah, it's
yeah.
all good. I just thought I'd
Yeah.
stay up. Yeah, I'm purely UFC, mate. UFC.
I appreciate it, Chris. Thanks, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Yes. Enjoy life.